Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys drop testy 5-word message on star CeeDee Lamb's holdout. Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy is not a fan of discussing what players are attending off-season workouts. McCarthy was not in the mood to talk about CeeDee Lamb's absence as the wide receiver officially began a holdout during mandatory minicamp practices. It remains to be seen if Lamb will attend training camp if an extension is not reached. CeeDee's not here today, so, McCarthy said during a June 5, 2024 press conference when asked if the team expected Lamb to be with the team. After an awkward pause, McCarthy showed a bit of sarcasm regarding the continued interest in players who have been absent from practices. McCarthy later described Lamb as being engaged with the team throughout the offseason, despite the contract stare down. "I tell you what, you guys do such a hell of a job with attendance, so I'll make sure you have some work to do at practice," McCarthy added with a sarcastic grin. "That's your one for the day, okay? We'll see how good you are." Lamb completed a 4-year, $14 million rookie contract, but the Cowboys picked up the wideout's 5th-year option for $17.9 million in 2024. As things stand now, Lamb would be a free agent in 2025, but Dallas also has the franchise tag the team could use to retain the wideout if no long-term deal is signed. Minnesota Vikings star Justin Jefferson just reset the market for NFL receivers with a 4-year, $140 million. Given Lamb's production, it is reasonable to think that the Cowboys playmaker could command something similar. Spotrac projects Lamb's market value to be a 4-year, $136 million contract, close to what Jefferson just signed. Lamb and Micah Parsons were not required to be at voluntary OTA workouts. Where the tension rises is Lamb missing the mandatory minicamp sessions as Dallas can fine the star more than $101,000, per ESPN's Adam Schefter. The fine schedule for missing mandatory minicamp: first day, $16,953; second day, $33,908; third day, $50,855; total, $101,716, Schefter detailed with a June 5 message on X. By skipping mandatory minicamp, Cowboys WR CeeDee Lamb and 49ers WR Brandon Ayuk will be subject to $101,716 in fines. Earlier this offseason, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones made some puzzling comments about Lamb's future. Jones praised Lamb's production but openly wondered if the star is worth sacrificing 4 or 5 players to have him. "He's out there and he's more valuable than anybody else," Jones explained on March 26, per DallasCowboys.com's Nick Harris. For undrafted free agents that could make the Cowboys roster, the Dallas Cowboys will return to Oxnard, California, at the end of next month. Yearly, the Cowboys unearth a gem in the undrafted free agent market following the NFL draft, and the diamond in the rough leaves an impression on the fans and coaches throughout the summer. Examples over the years have included Cole Beasley, Tony Romo, Terrence Steele, and most recently, Wanya Thomas and Marquise Bell. This year's group of undrafted free agents have a few candidates who could separate themselves from the pack and play their way onto this year's team. Here are 3 undrafted free agents that could make the team. Byron Vaughns could land on the roster as the Cowboys prepare for the future beyond this season, as DeMarcus Lawrence and Chauncey Golston are in the final year of their contract. Vaughns is a work in progress but has a solid foundation to start with. He had 27.5 sacks in college over his career at Texas, Utah State, and Baylor. He looks much bigger than his 6 feet 4 inches, 230 pounds frame with a massive 84-inch wingspan. Despite being an undrafted rookie, Vaughns boasts an expansive repertoire as a pass rusher with a variety of moves that show wisdom beyond his years. Vaughns could sneak his way on the roster by finding a way to play special teams before moving on to regular defense down the line. he could make a name for himself at training camp practices in one-on-one situations and get extensive snaps during the preseason. Brevin Spanford is a punishing run blocker that looks like a mobile offensive lineman on film. The Minnesota Golden Gopher has just enough athletic upside to intrigue the coaches with having higher potential than merely a blocking tight end. The Cowboys suddenly find themselves with a surplus of tight ends. Jake Ferguson is far and away at the head of the class following his breakout season last year. Peyton Hendershot enters his third year after making the team as an undrafted free agent in 2022. Hendershot has had a chance to lock down the number 2 spot behind Jake Ferguson, but injuries have held him back. Last year's second-round pick, Luke Schoonmaker, isn't going anywhere and will get more chances to prove himself. Converted receiver prospect John Stevens is returning from an ACL tear but has a high ceiling as a receiver among the tight ends. Everything may boil down to a decision on Hendershot and whether he can edge Spanford for the third tight end spot. Spanford has the advantage of his blocking ability being superior to Hendershot, and the Cowboys need a tight end to block after they didn't retain veteran Sean McKeon. Imani Johnson is a late bloomer and an older prospect, having stayed in school for 6 years. However, he exploded for the Wolfpack defense in his final year of college, recording 99 tackles and 3 interceptions. Johnson is better suited to play downhill in run support rather than coverage. Dallas must replace that role since Jaron Kearse is a free agent. Dallas Cowboys head coach makes Ceedee Lamb's stance clear as receiver skips mandatory minicamp. Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy has waved off Ceedee Lamb's no-show at the mandatory minicamp workouts this week, chalking it up to a business decision. The 2023 NFL All-Pro pick is facing a hefty $16,953, £13,258.83 fine for skipping Tuesday's practice and risks a whopping $100,000, £78,000, hit if he misses all of this week's sessions. Lamb, who is playing out the 5th-year option of his rookie contract with Dallas this season valued at a cool nearly $18 million, £14.08 million, is set to become an unrestricted free agent in 2025. He's got his sights set on securing a lucrative long-term deal this summer. Lamb's holdout follows sluggish talks between the player and club, with Cowboys executive vice president Stephen Jones remaining tight-lipped after last month's rookie minicamp. "Those things, there's no way to put a timeline on them," Jones said to the press. "As I told y'all, they got their eyes on other players around the league too. I think these are big contracts and they usually don't get done in a hurry, but when they get moving, they move rapidly." Since being snapped up by the Cowboys as the 17th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Lamb has lived up to the hype of a first-round selection with a stellar 900-yard debut season. The Oklahoma alumnus followed up with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons not far from the Cotton Bowl and dazzled in a remarkable 2023 run, trailing only behind Tyreek Hill with 1,749 receiving yards and tying with Myles Garrett for the top spot in Pro Football Reference's approximate value statistic. The young receiver is keen to stick with Dallas for the long haul, having declared on teammate Micah Parsons' The Edge podcast in February, "Absolutely, there's no secret about that." Yet, the 3-time Pro Bowler isn't shy about his financial aspirations. "I can't give you no numbers right now, but I'll tell you this, I want to be one of the top-paid receivers for sure, if not the highest-paid receiver," Lamb stated. That's always the goal. Lamb's ambition to rank among the top earners has intensified talks with the Cowboys, especially after NFL insider Josina Anderson reported a spike in negotiations following Justin Jefferson's groundbreaking contract. Jefferson inked an eye-watering 4-year, $140 million, £109.49 million deal with Minnesota, setting a new benchmark as the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history, figure that's undoubtedly influencing Lamb's discussions with Dallas. It's been a particularly profitable off-season for wide receivers, with Philadelphia's A.J. Brown and Detroit's Amon-Ra St. Brown bagging extensions worth $32 million, £25.03 million, and $30 million, £23.46 million, respectively. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ceedee Lamb? Leave your opinion in the comments.